Hey everybody, welcome to the Bitcoin Otter Show. We're about to go live on the air. Till then, hang on.
Right. We're going live in 5, 4, 3. KCYP 97.7 FM. It's that time of the week again where we go live with the Bitcoin Otter Show and your special guest, your special host of the show, Chris Otter.
Thank you, Joe. Greetings, blessings, good fortune to everyone. Glad to be back again. Here to talk more about some Bitcoin and cryptocurrency news. A lot of stuff happening this week. A lot of things going on that we want to pay attention to, especially when we're in the business of escaping financial rocky roads, if you will. Rapids, impasses, all kinds of things that are coming our way in the financial world that we'd like to protect ourselves, our families, and our friends from happening. So that's what we're here for. That's why we're here today. That's what I've made as my mission in life. Besides doing things for what I need to do in my family and my church life and for God Himself, I think this is part of what we need to do. We need to seek ways, find ways to help each other out. And once I grabbed onto the concept of what is actually going on in this decentralized financial world that Bitcoin pretty much has created, then I said, hey, I got to share this. If this is good enough for my family, other people will be able to grab on and better than I can, go through it, find their way, shelter their family in financial straits, so to speak. So that's why I'm here. That's why I enjoy doing this, and I appreciate, Joe, the opportunity to come on KCYP, the city, 97.7 FM here in McAllen, Texas. We're live on Facebook Live. Hello all. And we're going through some evolutionary stages, I guess you could say. We are getting more and more technologically advanced, and we hope to be to the point where we'll be able to see everyone in different chat groups and all that good stuff. But that'll be coming in the future. I'm just glad we have today, Joe. So, what I'd like to talk about today, some things that I have here in my handy-dandy notes, if you will. I guess the beginning, right? We'll start at the beginning. This is our third show. So I want to let everybody know that I started off on my Bitcoin adventure in January of 2021. So I didn't start out with Bitcoin, but I got on it as soon as I could. So there were other cryptos in my mind, especially one called Theta. And one of these days we'll have to do a whole show on that. But either way, what I'd like to share with you today are a few things that I think anybody who's interested in Bitcoin would like to know. So, what happened this week? What happened this week was that one of my favorite apps called Celsius is a great tool for what's called DeFi. A recap would be DeFi is decentralized finance. Okay, so basically it means you're your own bank. You can become your own bank. You are your own bank. You earn money as if you're your own bank, and you lend out as if you are your own bank. Because why? You're your own bank, Joe. You're your own bank. You are the bank. As you can imagine, that ruffled feathers. Yeah, I'm sure it ruffled a lot of feathers. So what did we have just this week? They kicked back. And they kicked back by telling Celsius, this app that I was using. I'm still using it. I don't know. I'll keep everybody updated as to what our options are going to be here for, if you will. And basically what they said was that you can no longer, after Friday, tomorrow, okay, so just if anybody was interested in getting into Celsius, apparently you can get into it between now and tomorrow, and the business, I don't know when that is. You can dump some Bitcoin in there, and currently I believe it's 5%. So it's an APY, annual percentage of 5%, that gets dumped into your wallet every Monday, which is great. You know, I love seeing that every Monday. Boom, there's your 5% interest that's going to be compounded over time, just like our 401ks are, but only much, much better. So they, meaning they, U.S. regulators, it was said. So U.S. regulators, and we know what that really means. That means the Federal Reserve. Okay, the Federal Reserve, they're not happy with apps like Celsius that put power in your hands, Joe, or my hands, or your hands. That's not where they want it. They want the authority directly in the central bank, because that's how they win. So basically what the U.S. regulators told Celsius was shut it down. Now, I don't know what kind of hem and hawing went on, what kind of bartering went on, but apparently as long as you have an account now, or you get it in between now and tomorrow, you can continue to earn interest on your cryptos. And it's not just Bitcoin. I mean, 5% on Bitcoin, but there's some out there that are like 18%, depending on what kind of crypto you want to deposit that. So you can, between now and Friday, deposit that, but after that, you're done. I'm sure you could throw it in there, but there's no benefit. You might as well have it in your own wallet. So this doesn't mean it's the end of DeFi, by no means. It just means that they're creeping in on some of the more popular apps, and this one being Celsius, which was simple. I mean, really simple. And I was going to do a whole show on it. Not so much anymore. But maybe they'll, come out from under the shackles of centralized banking one of these days. Just another advertisement for decentralized everything. Be it education, be it finance, be it money, whatever you want to do and have more control over, decentralization is the way to go. So they came down this week and said basically Celsius users can still remain, in the possibilities of interest-bearing accounts. After that, no more. But again, I'll get with you all in a later show or on the Facebook or I'm going to do a bunch of different stuff. So we'll figure out other ways, and there are other ways. It's just this kind of got me by surprise, so I didn't have a lot of time to prep for it. Anyway, we'll go on that a little bit more. So that was one of the how would you say notable things this week. What about you, Joe? What did you hear this week? Anything new that you learned?
Well, no, I've encountered a few folks. I'm excited about the show, so I'm talking to folks and sharing with them about our monthly meetings that we're going to start having.
Sure, the meetups.
And so a lot of people realize that some people seem to be against Bitcoin. I don't know if it's because they've been indoctrinated from what they hear in the media or what, but why do you think some people are against Bitcoin?
Well, for sure, you could call it risky, right? I mean, anything is pretty risky if you were to, take a second mortgage out on your house, which some people do, by the way. I'm not recommending that by any means. But people will go and do extreme to extreme. And they'll risk money that they don't really have any business risking. And then they end up in a bad spot. So, yeah, that could be risky. But when you talk about doing things in a sane, logical way, let's say you have a cup of coffee at your favorite coffee shop 3-4 times a week, cut it down once, cut it down maybe to 1 or 2 times, and you take that coffee money, you throw it in an account, buy some Bitcoin, like I was talking about that other app there, that I don't know yet if it will be named, but anyway, Celsius, yeah, that's the one, but I don't know if I want to, prop them up anymore. They bent the knee, etc., I won't rant. Anyway, so yeah, it can be risky, that's one thing, but here's another thing that you have to remember, we all have to remember this. The mainstream media is not our friend. The people that run that, the last time I checked, I think it was like 6 corporations that are global in nature. They're worldwide corporations. They're not here in America, but there are a total of 6 that own all of the mainstream media. They own it. They got it locked up. It's theirs. You're not going to get any message across that the gatekeepers don't approve of. So there's one thing, right? So the people are going to hear what the gatekeepers want them to hear. Now, it doesn't take a large or extensive articulate imagination to believe that the people that are involved in banking could be involved or be the same people that are involved in owning all of the media. It's not a real big jump there. It's not a leap of any kind. So you have all these things kind of incestuously commingled, and it all comes down to let's stick it to the little guy. whenever the little guy comes up with an opportunity to come out from little guyness, if that's a word, is that a word, Joe? Little guyness? I don't know.
It is now. We just coined it.
Okay, little guyness.
Just mind it.
We mind it. Thank you, Dad. See, he's in it already. So we mind little guyness. So when you start burgeoning as a little guy to a perhaps a big fish in a small pond in perhaps your local area, and then you get a little more recognition and you get national and then maybe even international, you gain attention at a certain point. I'm not sure what that point is because I'm still a little guy and I'm proud of it. I like being a little guy, and that's my goal at Bitcoin Otter, is to help the little guy. Right now I'm completely fashioning and forming my goals, my intents, my drive towards the beginner, the guy who's just getting in. That's the guy I want to help, the gal I want to help, the person I want to help. That person is trying to protect themselves, cover themselves, their family, make it through whatever financial hardships are coming. What is it now? They're going to say that inflation is at 8%. We got to almost double that, Joe. I think we're gonna have to come close to doubling that if we want to be real.
That makes sense. I think those numbers are not being very realistic.
No, and for good reason. So when we have this, I think, double-digit inflation going on, and we have people looking for different avenues to hide their wealth, their not even wealth, just anything of value. We want to be able to hide it. You buy yourself some land, get a rental property, buy a home if you don't even, most of us don't have homes. We live in an apartment or wherever we find ourselves. But if you can get a home, great. If you can get another extra piece of land, that's great too. If you can buy some precious metals and hold them, gold and silver, that's good. But now this thing comes up called crypto, Bitcoin. And we at one point were able to, and we still are. Again, we'll go into that at a different time. We still are, especially if you go peer-to-peer or things of that nature. But you had an app that was able to make a banker out of a regular person, a little guy. And that had to be quashed. And it did last for a while. But I am confident. I'm perhaps, you might call me an optimist, and I'll fit that bill. I'll go there. And I think that this is going to blow over. I don't know how many time, how long it's going to be, the time frame. Don't have a crystal ball, and if I did, it probably wouldn't work anyway. So the whole thing comes down to, let's figure out ways that we can make money. So they shut this one down. We'll find different ways. So another thing that I guess we could bring up in the news is right along the lines of your question, Joe. So there's this company called Mozilla, and many of you may know what Mozilla does. Mozilla is the parent company of the browser called Firefox. Okay, a little side story to that. The Brave browser, which is one of the most, if not the most, well, I think behind Tor, is one of the most private browsers. The one that you could really work around. You can have a private life, and not be inundated if you don't want to be with ads and so forth. The Brave browser was actually started by an individual who was kicked out of, or kicked himself out of, the Firefox people, Mozilla. Yeah, so he basically didn't like. I believe they're like, I guess the term is woke. Yeah, it's woke. They're woke. So he didn't want any part of that. So, but he basically started his own browser, which is Brave. Anyway, Mozilla, a while back, decided that there was too much energy being used in mining Bitcoin. Too much energy. I think was the last show or the show before, we discussed mining and how those operations go. So Mozilla decided that, it's a little bit too much energy being spent on this stuff, and then, mind you, they don't take into consideration any of the good things that come out of Bitcoin. Of course not. So Mozilla went and did that, right? So they figured out that, hey, it's too much, so they're coming down, right? Now Wikipedia is following pretty much the same path. And if you know anything about Wikipedia, they're most definitely woke. So as you can imagine, these businesses are deciding, and I don't think it's a coincidence that they do so. They're deciding that Bitcoin is just, not something they want to promote. So what we're going to see is that the things that are going to promote Bitcoin, the things that are going to incorporate Bitcoin, the things that are going to assist the little guy, if you will, the average Joe, those are the things that we're going to see more and more prominently. The old guard is going down. They don't know it yet, or if they do, maybe they do, and we could go into a little bit later the Twitter incident, right? With Elon Musk, like him, hate him, love him, whatever. It's going on. It's happening, and it's because of censorship. So this Mozilla thing is now turning into a Wikipedia thing. So that's just part of the news. But here's the news that you won't hear. And this is a rumor, and I'll say right now, we're live, right? So this is a rumor. I'm not saying that this is a fact. I'm not saying that, hey, I've got a source here, okay? And I certainly won't do what the mainstream media does, which is, what do they call that?
Lie? No?
Well, lie, yeah, they definitely do that. They definitely do that, Joe. But they use terms like an expert or an unnamed source, yeah, or someone in the intelligence community. In fact, there's 17 people in the intelligence community that tell us this, and of course, what is it? It's a lie. So, the rumor is that even the gargantuan Apple is considering something which would be pretty much monumental in the incorporation of Bitcoin. And here's basically what I've been hearing: that it's possible that they're going to unload the Lightning Network. Now, Lightning Network is a Bitcoin network that was built for speed, because what they realized was that Bitcoin transactions were taking a little bit longer than what was convenient for a guy who wanted to buy a cup of coffee, a guy who wanted to purchase something peer-to-peer. You want to buy these, hey, I got a set of rims or something, I want to sell you a speaker stand, whatever it is we want to buy, we want to sell. Sometimes the transaction was taking a little long. So they came out with a great new technology, and they called it the Lightning Network. And now Bitcoin transactions are really fast. They're lightning fast, Joe. Go figure. So if Apple were to do this, okay, it would be amazing the ability of us, of we, the individuals that get in any way or form to Bitcoin. It would be very beneficial. And here's one of the reasons why. When you use the Lightning Network, if it's going to be a part of your business, part of your economical order, or the shape of the business that you do, the form in which you do your business, then you have to have what's called a node. So a node is something that brokers transactions. It watches over the transactions. It keeps them honest, so to speak, in a very very good sense, meaning that it's the backbone of the security system of decentralized cryptocurrency, and in this case, Bitcoin. So if Apple were to onboard the Lightning Network, they would necessarily be forced to run a Lightning node. Okay, now that might not sound like a lot, it might not sound like anything that's monumental, but here's something that we have to take into account. The Bitcoin rules state that if you are going to have a Lightning node, you have to have enough Bitcoin in your node to account for the totality of the average number of transactions in Bitcoin per hour. So you can imagine Apple. How many transactions would Apple have in an hour? They're gonna have a bunch. Okay? And another thing I want to mention, Joe, is that as I focus my energies toward the beginner, we're gonna hopefully bump into a lot of experienced cryptocurrency so-called experts, the big boys of the trade. I welcome them. I do not by any means know everything. And like I said, I started in January of 21, so a little under a year and a half old in this stuff. So here's where I'm going. If Apple onboards this stuff, it's going to take a huge transaction for them to even run the node. So they're going to have to onboard somewhere around $100 billion. No, I'm sorry, $100 million in Bitcoin for that hour, because that's what they're going to estimate is going to happen in 1 hour. In Apple, it's a huge company, right? So with this going on, Apple's just, they would be in the forefront. You could hope that Amazon might do it, that others would follow suit. You've got Walmart.com, you've got all these retail type of places. So we're seeing things coming. Yes, we have bad news. People are trying to edge out Bitcoin, but the fact of the matter is there's a lot of good news out there too, and I'm just trying to bring stuff up that I can find. You all, if you have something, please email me. You can email me at bitcoinotter.media@gmail.com. bitcoinotter.media@gmail.com. Or you can visit my website, bitcoinotter.com, or call the phone. We got a phone, 737-256-9339. And I again want to thank Joe Martinez, the producer here of the 97.7 KCYP, the city, here in McAllen, Texas. We're running out of the McAllen Creative Incubator. And I'm gonna plug our meetup here, Joe. I'm gonna plug our meetup. So we've decided that every third Thursday of the month, we're gonna have a cryptocurrency meetup. Everybody here in the area, if you're retired or whatever, you're out of the area, come on over. So we're gonna have a cryptocurrency meetup at 7 p.m. and that the third Thursday of April is next Thursday. So 1 week from now at 7 p.m. right after the show, pretty much, we're going to have a cryptocurrency meetup. Just get together, talk cryptos. You don't know anything about crypto? Great, fine. Come on over, pepper us with questions. We'll have some coffee. It'll be a good time. Men, women, children, anybody who wants to learn. Basically, it's open. It's open to anyone who wants to learn. Or, hey, if you're one of those experts and you want to teach, come on, bring it on. Show us some new stuff. Show us what we can do, how we can do it, all that good stuff. We want to meet together, and we want to become a community around something that, in some way or form, is going to help us in the near future.
That's right. Once again, it's the third Thursday of every month here at the McAllen Creative Incubator, 601 North Main Street in McAllen. That's 601 North Main Street in McAllen. And when you get here, use the alleyway entrance. Those are the ones that usually open. The front doors tend to stay locked. Just come up in the back and use those rear entrances. Now, once again, his website is bitcoinotter.com. That's bitcoinotter.com. Now, I've got a question for you. Now, what can people do who get into Bitcoin? What can they do to share it with others?
Okay, well, there's a few things you can do. You can basically show them, and this helps out a lot, because once, and this worked this way for me, once you get a wallet, you download it on your phone or your desktop computer, your laptop computer. Once you get into it, you have something where you can actually see. There's something digital there that you can see as a coin or as a fraction of a coin in the case of Bitcoin. You kind of, you get into it and you're like, wow, how do I get more of this stuff? Or, wow, can I turn this into, green money that I can spend in a store or online where I can purchase something, goods or services. So the more we learn about it, the better it is. So to share it, how would I share it as someone who has a little bit? Give a little bit to somebody else. So a really neat way is called a paper wallet. So let's say you've got a friend of yours or a family member has a birthday, and you want to give them something different for their birthday. There are websites out there, and what I'm going to do is I'll put these websites on my Facebook page, and I'll put them on my website. Okay, coming up after the show, probably update that either tonight or tomorrow. Go on my Facebook page, Bitcoin Otter on Facebook, and I'll post these websites. But there are websites you can go to that will securely, okay, this is important, there's steps to be taken there, and on my website also you can book an appointment with me, and I try to keep my fees very, very low. I'm going to take you step by step and all this stuff. Whatever you want to learn, I'm there for you. I really believe they're reasonable, considering what other people I've seen have charged. So, that being said, you're going to take a website and you're going to have a wallet placed onto a piece of paper. Now, a digital wallet is simply an address, and it's got numbers, basically symbols, and letters. Okay, so they come together as an address, sort of like a web address. How do you get to a website? You use the address, you get there. Same with a cryptocurrency address. So what you do is you put this address on a piece of paper, and next to it will be a private address. So you're going to give that person two addresses, their public address and their private address. And before you put it in the envelope and put it in the birthday card, you load up some of your favorite crypto onto that address. Okay? Now, just so you know, beginners, you can't put Ethereum on a Bitcoin, in a Bitcoin wallet, or vice versa. There are interoperable wallets, but you've got to be very careful. So if you want to give Bitcoin, then make sure you got a Bitcoin wallet. So you take this address, which will also have a QR code. This is real easy. I mean, this is how we want to get beginners into the Bitcoin economy, if you will, or the Bitcoin community, is you make it easy, you make it simple. So there's QR codes so you can scan with your phone, and then you put it in your wallet on your phone, and we can show the beginner that too. Very, very simple. It's just as simple as downloading an app. You just download the app, and there it is on your phone. Now you've got cryptocurrency on your phone, whereas before the value of your phone was your phone. Now the value of your phone is your phone plus whatever you have in your wallet. Okay, now it's not exclusively accessible on your phone. You can access it from your laptop at home or your desktop or whatever. But these are ways that you can share Bitcoin and get people interested in Bitcoin, and then they can pass it along. So, paper wallet, one way. The other way, just have somebody download a wallet and just send them some. Just send them some. Hey, I got something for you. Boom, here's some Bitcoin. Oh, what do I do with it? Well, you can do this, this, this. But you know what? I really want you to find out. And if you want to know more, call Bitcoin Otter. Or if once you guys get on, on your feet, it's all, in my opinion, it's our job to let everybody know. Let your neighbors know, let people know that are in the same position we are, because you know what? Our dollar is not gaining in value at all. Money in the bank today is much less tomorrow. And it's snowballing. So having something that is deflationary, like Bitcoin, because it has a cap, there's only going to be 21 million of them, 19 million have already been mined. That is a great advantage. So one of the many advantages to having Bitcoin. What else you got, Sean?
Well, why do you think some people get excited about Bitcoin and others, they just couldn't care less about it?
Yeah, I get that all the time, and I'm not a high pressure kind of guy. If somebody is not interested in what I'm talking about or whatever, what do you want to talk about? We'll just talk. We'll talk about whatever. I just like to meet new people and hang out and talk about interesting things. But I can see when people are not interested in Bitcoin. What are the reasons for that? Well, I think there's a few of them, but the biggest one that I want to highlight is negative exposure. They watch TV. Now, hopefully TV watching is waning. Hopefully TV watching is going away. As we watch TV, and this has been known for many years, as we watch TV, we become less and less creative because it's pretty much the same old, same old. Now, if you stop watching the news, believing everything in the newspaper, then you're able to see things in a different light, from a different perspective. So I think a lot of it has to do with the exposure that people have had to Bitcoin. If they're told every day that it's bad, well, they'll probably think it's bad. Another thing is, they might not get it, so to speak. Not because they're not smart or anything like that, but because it hasn't been put into a perspective that they could utilize in their own life, such as the perspective of their bank account. Let's say you're fortunate enough to have $1,000 in your bank account, and you put it in there today. Today's the 14th of April, I believe. So let's say you put $1,000 in it. Currently, I believe, and I'm pretty sure it's in double digits. We'll just say, for the sake of a fairly round number, is 12, right? We'll go 12%. We'll say inflation's at 12%. So, you put that $1,000 in there, 12% is gone. Just gone. Right? That's $120 if my math is right. I'm not a math guy, Joe. But the next year, and that's if it stays at that rate. We don't see any fixes coming our way. They're not going to be able to fix this, Joe. This is too much. You take into account the debt. You take into account the supply chain catastrophes we're experiencing. All man-made, by the way. All man-made. All preventable. Yeah. So it's not going away anytime soon. So we got to look at something else. We got to find something else as average people to place our productivity, our labor, if you will, into whatever it is we do for a living. As we put it into a centralized banking system, it just becomes less and less. And the ability for us to do things with that less and less automatically becomes less and less ability. So that would be my answer. They either they're not interested because they've heard negative things of it. B, they can't imagine how it would help them. And then C, it's hard for a lot of us to think about it, but maybe some people just haven't heard of it yet. It hasn't gotten around to their circle, their community, if you will. And they're just doing what it is they do every day, but they don't bump into the concept of Bitcoin. So that's my answer. And yeah, I can usually tell when eyes glass over that they're pretty bored over the subject, so we just change the subject. Pretty much. That's how we deal with that.
Now, we were talking in the last show, in the last two shows, how we've been hearing about this for a long time. I didn't get on board when I should have gotten on board.
Sure.
Is it too late to get on the ground floor, as they say, of this, or are we already past that?
That's a good question. And the fact of the matter is negative, completely negative. That any even thinking in that way can probably set you back more than you would like to be set back. And here's why. Even if we're talking about Bitcoin being alive since 2009, there are new cryptos, and I have to warn everybody, if you're new to cryptos, the vast majority of cryptos will lose you money. They will lose you money. You can lose a lot of money throwing your efforts into what are called altcoins. They're alternative to Bitcoin. Not to say that they're all bad. Not that. But there are thousands of them. Literally thousands of them. So, yes, Bitcoin is the oldest one. However, we are in now the ground floor. We're still there. There are projects going up that, again, one of these days we're going to have a show about theta. Keep saying that, and we'll have that one of these days. But there are projects out there that are putting forth ideas and use cases for these ideas, and also proof of work. In the case of theta, I think they already have 4 patents. So they can prove what it is they're trying to do, which is basically share broadband ability via nodes on computers. So if you're in the same building, you don't have to go to the content deliverer. You don't have to go to an area Spectrum or Verizon or wherever you get your internet service. You can piggyback on someone's node, and they get paid for it. Yeah. So anyway, this is just one of the ideas that are out there. So there are ideas that are groundbreaking. There are things we can do with cryptocurrency, and even with Bitcoin. There was one of the stories I have here in my sheaves of notes. There's another good word, Joe. Another good sheaves of notes. So there was a CNBC story. I don't watch it, so I'm reading. Yeah, I don't watch that, but I'm reading what they told in this story. A woman named Elena Vorobia, and she was a Ukrainian refugee, right? So she's running from what's going on in Ukraine over there. She ran to Poland. So if you're familiar with how things get done in the money messaging old school ways, you basically you got a wire service that costs a lot of money and sometimes a lot of time, or they'll just close their door and you can't use them. So this woman was able to use or have transferred from Miami, so she must have friends, family in Miami, $100 worth of Bitcoin from Miami to where she was in Poland. And she got in touch with them and they got it all done within the space of 3 minutes. Now it's CNBC, so we can't really believe them, but from what I know, that is most definitely possible. Even under that, if you know what you're doing. So let's think of it. You've got a use case for refugees that are able to, as they're running to safety, utilize Bitcoin in this case, or it could have been a different one if they knew how to do it, to safeguard their lives and their families' lives from harm using money. We all need it, right? We all need a way to buy food and so forth. So what we have here is one of the perfect use cases for basically saving a life, right? I mean, yeah, they could have done that another way, but wow, it certainly helps to be able to get $100 in Bitcoin in less than 3 minutes, right? That's a great use case. So with things like this, and even mainstream is forced to report on it now, with things like this going on, there's only so long that they can ignore it. But again, as we started off the show with, you know, the boot on the neck of the little guy is the centralized banking system, right? They're not going to take this laying down. But as we can also see, their system ain't working so good, Joe. It's not working well at all. So as it goes down, as it, how would you say, is in the throes of entropy, we're going to see some things pop up because that's who we are as human beings. When what is it? Need is the mother. Necessity is the mother of invention, right? Something like that. Some smarter guy than me came up with that one, and I just can barely get out. But that's what it's about. There's some brilliant people out there. The guy who invented Ethereum, I think he was 19 or 20 when he invented it. Ethereum, the number 2 currently cryptocurrency out there. So yeah, I mean, just brilliant stuff going on. Brilliant stuff.
And so how long do you think it'll be before we can spend Bitcoin the way we spend regular money?
Not long. See, we can do it right now. But the normal, I won't say normal, the customary places that we go to don't accept it yet. But they're warming up to it. Amazon's warming up to it. And more rumors, right? Don't quote me on this. You know, Otter said this, Otter said this. I'm passing things on, but I'm not writing them in stone. If you get what I mean. So, and also, if you know of other stories or whatever, throw them my way. Throw them on Facebook. Throw them on my email again, bitcoinotter.media@gmail.com. bitcoinotter.media@gmail.com. Email, Facebook, Bitcoin Otter, and my website, bitcoinotter.com. Also, give me a call anytime. If I don't get you, I'll get back to you. 737-256-9339. 737-256-9339. So, yeah, I would say if I had to put it in there, and again, you're already able to spend Bitcoin as money, I would say probably by the end of this year. Let's go with that. By the end of this year, we'll probably see somebody big. Somebody big is going to come out and say, "Hey, we're taking Bitcoin. We're going to do it."
That's pretty good. That's pretty fast, actually.
My guess.
Yeah. So now, for those of you that are just joining us, you might have just tuned in, you might have just logged on to Facebook. Tell us a little bit about Bitcoin Otter Show. What's the vision or the goal of this show?
This show, and I'm extremely blessed to be able to do this. The original story was me and Joe bumping into each other after a while that we hadn't been to church, so we bumped into each other, and we hooked up, and he offered me the opportunity to have this show, so here we are. But my goal is to teach people how they can escape whatever coming financial straits are in the cards for us. I really do think that it's going to come down to the people who are able to escape in one way or another the coming difficulties. I don't know how bad it's going to be, Joe. I don't know. I don't know, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. You know, Bitcoin is like ammo, you know. Can't have enough. You know, better to have too much than not enough. Have it and not need it, then need it and not have it. You know, those kind of things. But I just want to be able to impact and know that I'm sharing something. You know, I'm a Christian, that's no secret. So the first thing I want to share is the gospel of Jesus Christ. But I do believe at some level, helping other people in this way is something I was made to do. And that's what I'm going about right now. This is what I'm doing. This is how I'm doing it. How I'm giving back. Because from what I've seen of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general, it's a branch that somebody has thrown into the quicksand pit. As somebody's sinking further in financial quagmires, they're given a branch to help out. Now, I could be wrong about that. I could be wrong. I've been wrong a couple times before, but within this hour. But basically, in a nutshell, I'm here to help people if they want to use this avenue of escape, if they even believe it's an avenue of escape, to use it. And that's my purpose. That's what I want to do. I'm trying. I'm doing it. I'm giving it my best. So here we are.
So once again, you can always contact Chris out at thebitcoinotter.com, right? And could you give us that phone number again?
Yeah, that'll be 737-256-9339.
Once again,
737-256-9339.
737-256-9339. Now, so what are some of the services that you offer?
Well, the first thing is I'm completely opposite to public education. Meaning, I don't teach one way so that you've got to force your learning style into a curriculum. No, we'll talk, and when you call that number, the 15 minutes are free. I'm just wanting to know, hey, who wants to know? How can I help? I don't want to know how much money you have. I don't want to tell you what to do with your money. I don't want any of that. I'm not a how would you say, a custodial holder of cryptos that is going to tell you, hey, you're going to have to put your money here. You know what? This is going on here. You got to do this. No, not at all. I'm here to help point you in a direction that is where I believe, based on our short little interview, will be advantageous to you, based on the things that you tell me. And then from there, you go in that direction. If that's not the right one, you say, hey, send me an email, give me a call. Hey, Otter, I'm not getting anything here. Can you throw me something else? Yeah, I'll throw you some more stuff. I've been looking at this stuff for a while now. So the learning curve was pretty steep, and that's what I'm trying to do is level out the learning curve of beginners. I don't want you to have to spend as much time as I did getting to know all this stuff, and that's the goal, is to get you condensed, solid information into your hands to be used as quickly as possible and as clearly as possible. So before we leave an appointment, a Zoom call or a phone call, or if you're in the area, we'll meet up for coffee, whatever. Before we leave, I want to know that you're able to do what it is that you set out to do in that time frame. So that's the goal, is to teach that way, to teach so that you can do, that a person can do. You're not going to know everything by any stretch of the imagination in a half hour, an hour, or however long we spend. But it'll get you to the point where you can get some Bitcoin in your wallet if that's what you want to do. And again, I'm not high pressure at all. If that's what you want to do, I'm your guy. If you don't want to do that, well, we'll talk. We'll have a cup of coffee or whatever. That's fine too. But if you want to learn how to, from a beginner's perspective, or even if you're intermediate, and you say, hey, Otter, I need you to look this up. I need you to do some research for me. I'm your guy. I'm your guy. I'll do that for you.
Fantastic. Now, if you're like me, you feel like you've been drinking out of a fire hose. It's a lot of information coming in because things are moving fast. From day to day, there's changes. And so we've got to try to stay ahead. But give us a quick recap as to what we've covered this hour, in case someone's just joining us,
Sure.
or in case they just didn't quite catch it the first time.
Sure, yeah. The first part of the show, we came into the news, what was current. So we talked about what used to be a great app, Celsius, where you could put your Bitcoin into it. You deposit your Bitcoin, and every Monday you'd get 5% on whatever amount you had in there. 5% in Bitcoin, not in dollars. In real money, Bitcoin. So you get this 5%, and it adds on every single week. Boom, boom, boom. Compounding interest. That's what we've all been preached to with these 401ks and stuff that we're forced to keep into the Wall Street casino. Why? Because they own it. They own it. You're limited as to what you can put in, what you can take out, where you can put it, how you get that done, the way you take loans out. Okay? With decentralized finance in that Celsius app, you were able to take out loans on your Bitcoin. Doesn't show up on your end of year taxes because it's a loan. Okay? Yeah.
So sorry. Let me stop you there because this is very interesting. I hope you guys are finding it as interesting as I am. But the Celsius app, you've got to get yourself a Bitcoin wallet first, and then the Celsius app, or is it vice versa? What comes first?
Well, you can buy on that platform, but here's another problem you're going to have, Joe. Depending on your bank, they might not let you buy cryptocurrency with your debit card or your credit card. They're scared. They're afraid of this technology, Joe. They know what it means. This is the death knell of centralized banking, and they know it. So they're coming out swinging. They're scared. So yeah, there's other ways you can get Bitcoin. So you get Bitcoin, and then you send it from wherever you get it to the app. And again, I'll be prepared. Next week we'll have different apps that I'll throw out there, and we'll see. Hopefully they'll last a little longer. There's also ways of you can invest in apps or invest in transactions that are done in different countries, things like that. But yeah, they're tightening the noose on our ability to transact in ways that are advantageous to us. So we did the Celsius, the bad news of that, the news about how Wikipedia and Mozilla are coming down on. They're always going to bring that whole climate, Gorgon and Master into the description of how bad things are, right? So they're going to use all that climate stuff, and then they're going to say that it's bad, it's evil, and we shouldn't do it because of energy and this and that. So they were doing that, and then the good news, possibilities, again, rumors, possibility that Apple is entertaining. And when you think about it, if you're a company like Apple, why wouldn't you entertain it? Bitcoin is not like an elephant in a room. It's us being under the arm of the elephant at this point. So if you're an Apple exec and you don't consider this, you got to be wondering why it is that you earn the money you earn. So Apple's not the only one, but rumor is that they're warming up to it. Some other things were your learning style, how it is that I teach. We can have a 15-minute conversation, and I call it a discovery call, and it's on my website, bitcoinotter.com. I've got a calendar service there. You pop it in there, you make an appointment, it'll come on my notifications. You get an email back, and there we go. We got a time, we got a date, whether it's going to be a Zoom call, it's going to be in person, it's going to be by a phone call. We'll figure that out, later. And then we went into our cryptocurrency meetup that we're going to have next Thursday. I'm excited about that. So we're going to have coffee and hey, remember the we were going to coin it something, right? So there's a guy out there who owns a franchise. He's got one in Miami, and he's going to be building them worldwide. They're called Crypto World. It's a brick and mortar store. Great story. The store itself is brick and mortar. And in these days, people want to shy away from that. But this guy's going full bore, and there's many reasons that we can explain later. But he does what's called in Miami there in his store. He does crypto over coffee. But we're in the valley here, so what are we going to call it, Joe?
I like that. I know you shared the name with me. Was it Crypto con Café?
Crypto con Café. That's going to be it. Crypto con Café. So we're going to have coffee. We're going to talk crypto. We'll talk Bitcoin. Whatever else. We'll just get together. Again, old, young, men and women. Anybody who wants to come by, just come on by. I guess here's something interesting. Just popped into my mind. I belong to an entrepreneurs group that's based primarily in cryptos, and 50% of that group is female. 50%. So it's half and half. So if anybody's wondering, hey, ladies into this, and how many, maybe it's overwhelmingly male-oriented. No. Many times in life, and as a married guy, I know many times in life, women can be smarter than men. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of them that are on the edge of this stuff, and they're really doing well.
That's right. Excellent. So as we're wrapping up, any last words before we wrap up? The time flies.
It does.
I can't believe we've already been on here for almost an hour.
I know, and I guess I want to say that we're going to have some technological advances, right? So we're going to work on a way where we can see people coming into the chat rooms. We're going to see people on either Facebook Live or all the other stuff that we're going to throw it out on. We envision a happy future for this show and for this station, KCYP, the city, 97.7 FM in McAllen, and 97.7, the city 97.7.com. So we envision these things coming. We're going to take phone calls. Also, we're going to have phone, it's going to be live. Call in, ask me questions. Throw whatever you want to throw at me, especially on radio, because it won't hit me. So, we're hoping that we're going to be able to get a better, more polished show. Okay, and we're glad that you're in right now. You're tuning in, you're listening, you're watching, whatever you find yourself doing right now to get the Bitcoin Otter show. We're grateful. I'll tell you that right now. We're very grateful. So, to wrap it up, I guess I could just say thank you. We're going to get better. We're going to get to the point where it's going to be more user-friendly, more interaction with the audience. So, it's coming soon. It's coming soon.
That's right. Well, thank you guys for joining us on episode 3 of the Bitcoin Otter Show. And we want to welcome everyone watching us on Facebook Live, joining us over 97.7 FM and the city 97.7.com, as well as over Radio Garden, keyword 97.7 FM. So once again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you,
Chris. Thank you for bringing this show to our audience. And until next week, keep listening to 97.7 FM.
All right. Thanks everybody out there in Facebook Live land. Remember, this Thursday, we're going to do the cryptocurrency meetup. Come on out.